Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all doing very, very well. It's supposed to be Chelsea on Saturday. Pretty much our penultimate away game of the season. We have got Alex here from for our dance CFC CV TV. Hope you are well.
I'm well, mate. I'm good. I'm good. Good to be on here. Thanks for inviting me on. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it on Saturday. But I'll be honest with you, not that confident. To be fair, I know we probably should be, but even though we won against Bournemouth, I think you have a lot more to play for than we do. So it's going to be a tight one, but I think if you're a Nottingham Forest fan going into this game, you should come in with a bit of confidence because you're playing against one of the worst Chelsea teams in our recent history. Definitely the worst team of this century. So yeah, a lot of reasons for you guys to be confident, but I can probably imagine you're quite nervous as well.
It's one of them ones. If you asked me before our game on Monday, I would have said yeah, but after Monday result, it's sort of like turn, but
Mm.
I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because when we beat Brighton the other week, we went and lost against Brentford in poor fashion. So it's one of them ones. I try not to get too far ahead of myself, but I don't want to put a damper on it. I mean, with Chelsea as well, it's one of them ones where I said before last week, if you didn't want to beat Bournemouth, I would have money on you guys beating us, knowing with it being Forest and everything. So, I mean, how's your form been? Well, I know you only won one out of last how many
Oh,
games?
oh, mate. Our form is good. We won a game. Lampard didn't have the 007, so that's a positive. We're not getting relegated. We've got 40 points. Uh, Not really an awful lot more to shout about if you're a Chelsea fan, other than the fact that we spent a load of money. But that money doesn't really seem to be doing much other than bringing us in the wrong direction to where we need to go. I mean, the season itself, we were confident. I was confident. I was certain we'd get top four. Didn't think we'd have a title push. But, I would have thought maybe we'd just finish on that fourth spot, scraping Champions League football, especially when we signed players like Fofana, Bamiyang. I thought, right, okay, we've replaced Rudiger. We've got a striker. Okay. But it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And it all comes down to the fact that we sacked Tuchel. I mean, he was a god for us Chelsea fans. I don't think people realise how much we loved him. I mean, he's up there with Mourinho for me, and I believe that if he was given the time, he could have overtaken Mourinho because the difference between Mourinho and Tuchel is I believe Tuchel could actually build a project, and he can build a style of football that we can sustain. But as soon as we sacked him, I mean, it was just complete chaos, and Potter came in, and to be fair, he was the manager that I wanted more than Pochettino, more than a lot of these other managers because he'd done so well at Brighton, but still didn't really feel like the right time. And nobody wanted Tuchel to leave in the first place. So you're thinking, oh, hang on a second. Potter comes in, does well in his first few games. We beat Milan at home, we beat them away, won a couple of games, and then the form just dipped. I mean, like it just got horrific from the start. I mean, we had a few injury problems. I know Reece James was out. I think Chilwell was out as well, and they were our best players at the time. Under Tuchel, our wing backs were just massive for us. And then we went to a back four. Potter changed everything. Every game was a different lineup. And when the World Cup came, it was like, thank God we've got a break. Like, I need to get away from this. This is not good for my mental health. And I think any Chelsea fan will tell you that. We came back. We beat Bournemouth. We beat Crystal Palace, and we thought, you know what? New year, new Chelsea. And ever since then, it's just got worse and worse and worse. Potter had to go in January, February. He got sacked in March. Um, and Lampard's been terrible since he's coming as well. But he's working with a group of players who don't care. So this is why I think that you boys have a good chance. I really do. Um, if I was a Nottingham Forest fan, I'd be gutted that this game isn't at home because I think if you were playing this game at home, it'd be completely different. But I'm sure the away
Yeah,
is great. Stamford Bridge has been sort of like a charity shop, really. You come in, you take 3 points, and then you leave. So I guess I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I'd be pretty confident if I was you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I want to say definitely then that going into it, the two forms have just been separated. I mean, looking at where Chelsea was started the season with Tuchel, I thought it done something well, changed the ownership, got me
Mm.
giving money. I thought, oh, giving money now, especially what you guys bring through with Roman and how that ended, unfortunately, with Bushra and all that. I thought,
Yeah.
giving him time, he might have been able to build something more, but for him to get rid of him and bring in Pottery, and from my outsider, I thought probably deserved the chance after what he done at Brighton and all that. I thought he done a quite a good job taking them from where they were, and I remember watching Chelsea that first Champions League game, and I thought, yeah, he can probably build something there and give him time, but
Mm.
it's just not been the same Chelsea from like first time when Mourinho was there, where he just got them playing that attractive football. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, even at the end of last season, like it wasn't great. Like we were losing a lot of games. I remember we lost like 4-1 at home to Brentford. We drew at Wolves in the last minute. Like there was a lot of games where we just dropped silly points. And that was after Bowley had already taken over. So pretty much ever since Bowley's been in charge, it's been getting worse and worse. So when we look at like the managers that we've had, it all comes back down to the owners. And then actually you say, well, Potter is a good manager. So what is the problem here? And the problem is we have like more than 30 players in our squad. We had to extend our changing room because there's not enough space for all the players.
Oh, really?
It's ridiculous. Even Thiago Silva said it after, I can't remember what game it was. It might have been after Arsenal or one of the other games we lost. He was literally saying, like, we've made a lot of mistakes this year. We need to make sure next year's better. He spoke about the changing room, which is quite a big deal. I mean, I've never even heard of having to extend the changing room for something like that. So we
First
basically
time.
had a squad that wasn't good enough, right? And then we thought, okay, in January we're going to sign 8, 9 players, and that's going to solve all of our problems. So you've basically got a brand new squad on top of your squad. They don't have any time to gel together. They don't know the Chelsea mentality. You can't really integrate them into a winning side because we're already struggling. So the morale's just rubbish from the get go. And then with that as well, you can only have 11 players on the pitch. So you've got all these players like Mudryk and Madueke who've struggled for minutes the whole season. Aubameyang barely plays. I don't even think he's got more than 4 or 5 full games in a Chelsea shirt, and he's been here the whole season. Like it's honestly it's terrible the way that we've been managed because that's the thing that's put our managers in such awkward positions to have to rotate all the time because when you've got such a big squad and no one's performing, literally maybe the only players that have had a good season, you could probably say Reece James is okay, but he got injured. He keeps getting injured. Fafana's been okay. Silva's been okay. Kepa's had a good season, but he's still not good enough. We know that if we actually played well, Kepa would let us down. And that just goes to show how far we've fallen. If Kepa's one of the best players in the Chelsea squad at the moment, in terms of his, game to game performances, I mean, it's just a nightmare, to be honest with you. We need a massive clear out. We need to get rid of these players. A lot of people are saying players are on the beach. After we lost in the Champions League, there's nothing to play for. They don't care. And now we've hit 40 points. There's even less to play for because at least you don't have the embarrassment of saying you're going to get relegated. So
Yeah, I seen that post last week about it. I had to double look at it because I just woke up and think it was give me sport or someone said about if Chelsea kept on losing and everyone blowed and won, they could be relegated.
Honestly, mate, it's mad. Can you? I can't even believe I'm having this conversation. Like, do you know what? I have so much respect for you now, Dan. I'll be honest. I now know how you feel.
Mm,
It is stressful, man. It's
yeah,
stressful.
I mean
Like,
we went for it years ago under Fowler. We nearly got relegated, and it was so run down to the core with what Fowler did. When our current owner came in with Wandel, they said that the club needed to be looked after, and they said it was in intensive care.
hmm,
And so I completely know how it feel. And it went through a patch. It was Sabri Dimitri came in, so that was doing 3 years ago. We had around 32 players on our books,
yeah.
and that was with the new signings. And it was just, I mean, we missed out on the playoffs that season, and we were just like, we need to get rid of a load of dead wood, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
completely know how you feel.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the annoying thing, I guess, is that we can't turn around quicker. But I mean, to be fair, you guys, you've got a fair amount of money in your team as well. I think your owner's he's quite generous, isn't he? Like he spends a lot.
Yeah, when we went up last season, he even said because we had a bit of a celebration in Market Square at the
Yeah.
council house, and he even said then that he would pour money into the club because he knew that we needed a near enough brand new squad because we had a lot of dead wood and loan players came in last season,
Hmm.
so we needed to near enough build a new squad, and it worked out that we spent around 170 million in for the promotion money, and he still,
Oh yeah.
and even in January, it spent money to refill him, and it kept to his word just to try and keep us up. And even though fair play to Steve Cooper to say that he had to last season work with a squad that weren't his to build a new squad this season, and the job he's doing, it's just unreal.
I think he's fantastic. And like this is why I think that Nottingham Forest will stay up because they've kept Steve Cooper,
Mm.
and that's why Leeds will probably go down because they got rid of Jesse Marsh. I thought Marsh was a good manager. Leeds should
Yeah, I
have never
did.
sacked him, and you've done the complete opposite thing. You've trusted the manager. Why would you? Why would you? Towards the end of the season, I just don't get it. How they can sack a manager who's done such good things for the club, like the thing as well is like every team in the Prem now, like you could go down 15, 16 places. It's all a hard game. It gets harder and harder and harder. The only team that I can think of in recent history that have been in the Prem and you think, yeah, that's going to be easy is Norwich. Like that's the
Yeah.
only team where I ever thought, oh, this is gonna be a walk in the park. Like, I never felt that way when we played against you. I didn't feel that way when we played against Southampton. We've lost to them both times this season. Leeds beat us 3-0. Like the list goes on, mate. Like
Yeah.
so it's only getting more competitive. And the only way that you can survive in that environment is having a real togetherness and a proper structure. And it all comes down to the manager. So when we brought in Potter and gave him a 5-year contract, now we've been through 4 managers this season. Like that just goes to show that's exactly what you don't do. And Forrest, you got to stick with Cooper, man. I think he's a really top manager, and I think if you stick with him and continue to back him, you'll climb up the table next season.
I mean, there was times this season, especially after the Leicester away game, there was a load of reports coming out after the game. It must have been 20 minutes, saying that they're looking at Benitez. I'm like, no, don't do that. I mean, for what people did do, and I mean, it's not fair on them, and all that it was so nervous because
Mm.
every time I was put a tweet out, I'm like, oh no. And I always remember it because I did a preview that Friday morning against Villa, and we were just saying about like hopefully we hear something about Cooper. And since I came after that preview to do another preview, Cooper got his new contract, and you know what? The mood just went skyrocketed like, and fair play on Martinez because Dave Murphy, our CEO, wanted to get rid of him,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was instrumental to get him in, and then he wanted to get rid of him, and apparently load of things happened in the boardroom, and Dean Murphy's not at the club now because of it. We changed our recruitment team because some of our signings not worked out as much as they wanted to, and even when Cameron we were lost to like in March, and Miyake came out again and said that I'm backing him, and got rid of our sporting director.
That is mad. I didn't realise that. To be fair. But nah, Rafa Benitez wouldn't suit you guys because he's not going to prep. Like you're not going to be on the front foot. So I think, yeah, you've dodged a bit of a bullet there. Not that I think Benitez is a bad manager. I actually think he's a great manager.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't think he's really fits into Nottingham Forest per se.
yeah. So it's just been one of them ones, but I'm just glad that Miyake has kept his word because he's owner of Olympiacos, and he's Forest managers there like left, right, and centre. So when he came into Forest, he got that bit of a tagline to himself that he's sacked manager, and he done it first couple of years at Forest, but then I think he realised that he needs to back a manager, especially in the English game, because in Greece football you might be able to do it and get away with it, whereas
Mm.
here it's a lot more different.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they winning titles in Greece
Yeah,
or?
yeah, Olympiacos winning titles still quite easily.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Then it's like a completely different challenge. That's probably another reason he did it. Just to try something completely different. And Forest is a big club. Like
Yeah,
it's a great opportunity. And this is the thing, man. Like big clubs, you need to have good owners. And I think that, well, we've both got owners that want to spend money, but it seems like your owner's got his head screwed on, right? Whereas our owners don't have a clue about football. I was actually doing some research, right? Because this is a bit weird. I bought some. They've got a baseball game in London, right? Just like a once a year thing, and I bought tickets for it. Just why not?
mm,
I've never been to baseball, and it got me thinking. What are these American sports like? And what are these American owners trying to bring to English football that they have in American sports like basketball and baseball? Because Todd Bowley and Clear Lake, I think they've got stakes in the Dodgers and also the Lakers for basketball.
yeah.
Basketball teams, mate, they play more than 80 games a season.
Oh,
Baseball teams play over 160. That's mad.
man.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what some of these American owners are probably looking to do in the English game. So the fact that I know your owner's not American, where's he from?
Greece.
Oh, he's Greek as well.
Yeah,
Sweet. So I think it's great that we've got European owners because that's going to be the difference between keeping the game the way it is and actually revolutionize it in a positive way rather than trying to Americanize the whole sport, which is going to negatively impact everything. I mean, just as well. Another thing is we were all told that they were going to raise season ticket prices at Stamford
yeah.
Bridge. Can you imagine that? We've been told they're going to raise prices after the worst season in since I've been alive, right?
Oh,
And there's absolute outrage. We're thinking there's no way you can actually do this. So a lot of I think it was the Chelsea Supporters Trust. They sent them a lot of mail letters, and they basically said you can't do this, and it's just disgraceful. And to
mm,
be fair, we had our ticket renewal today, so that you could you've got like a month to do it, and they haven't pushed my prices up, so they've stayed the same as last season, which is good. But I think in one stand, the West Stand, they've raised ticket prices by £700 each.
700.
So for the majority of the stadium, 75%, they haven't done anything. But for the most expensive side, which is the West View, it's where a lot of the tourists and people like that go. They've bumped it up by £700. So
Oh, wow.
look, it could be worse, but at the same time, it's not great, is it? Let's be honest. So
No, especially with the coming climate and all that. I mean, lucky enough, I was, they have to up taste a little bit because we was like the cheapest in the league, so they bumped up a little by like 100 quid. But I mean, lucky enough for I sit in the cheapest, I sit near the Ray fan, so they're
yeah.
on Trenton, it's like the cheapest, whereas A block's like going up to 600 quid.
Blimey.
Um, yeah, so it's like I know the feeling, and it's. I mean, it's the first time I've been able to pay mine off in the year. It's like straight off because I normally do it monthly, so it's been quite nice just to pay mine off straight away this year.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine. I wish I could. I wish I could be that way as well.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you said about Saturday's game, saying about we should be confident. I mean, what sort of formation team do you think I need to look out for?
Oh God. Knowing Lampard, he'll probably play a back four. We play terribly in a back four. Um, we will hopefully. Honestly, mate, this is the thing. I couldn't tell you. We change
Oh,
our lineup every week. Hopefully, we'll have Silva, Badiashile, centre backs. I think Chilwell's injured. I
mm,
think Reece James is a little bit. We'll probably play Reece James on the right, but he doesn't look great because he needs surgery. And then maybe Cucurella on the left. Kante, Enzo, and then hopefully Mudric, Madueke on the wings with Aubameyang or Havertz up front. I mean, our goal threat is pretty shocking.
mm,
If you can see more than 2 goals to us, hang your head in shame because we
yeah,
will score a goal to save our lives. So the thing is, if you go 1-0 up, Dan, it's over. That's the
yeah,
truth. If you start winning the game, you will not lose unless you bottle it because we're not going to put the
yeah,
pressure on.
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the only thing we were away from because we won a once away this season. That was against Southampton, funny enough, and we're not really had a settled 11 because of injuries and all that. Whereas we started to get a settled 11 just before the World Cup. We started
Yeah.
to get to that momentum. And when we came back, I think it was Man U our first game, and Lingard went off injured, Clarky got injured at the World Cup, and someone else got injured. I thought, here we go. Um, but then, I mean, last couple of games, we seem to finally find a really settled back four. But nah, obviously Navas will be in goal just because Hendo's that.
Mm.
But I mean, the only thing with Navas, and I mean, some saves you look at him, and you're like, wow, you can see he won 2 Champions
Oh,
League
he's a
medals.
quality player, really good.
Yeah,
I'd take him at Chelsea.
yeah. Then other times he just passed balls out, and the other team scored within a second because it happened quite a few times this last couple of weeks. The back four, depending, I think we play a back four, but always went off injured and Lodi went off injured. So we ended up playing Wowell at right back and Toffolo at left back. I mean, Wowell's not a right back, but Toffolo does the job there. Ibini, Carty, and Felipe. I mean, Felipe's just a monster at the back. Like,
Mm.
I mean, so glad we signed him. I suppose Madrid let him go, to be honest with you. He's that good. I can see Stone, Mandala, Danilo, and Yates in midfield. Um, Danilo seems to be our informed player at the minute. He scored three in the last three, and
Mm.
it's just getting better and better. Then I think it'd be the usual front three for us of Johnson, Gibbs White, and then Rodney.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, Gibbs White's going to be a big threat, so I think he's the one to watch out for you. For us, Madueke if he starts, but we'll see if he does. Madueke is probably the biggest threat, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, my prediction would be I said 3-2 on the podcast, so I'm going to stick with 3-2 to Forest. Should be more confident, really, but
Uh,
there's not much to shout about. So, fair play to you boys. In a way, I want you to stay up. So we've got nothing to play for. Charity FC might strike again. We'll see.
yeah, I want to go for a 2-1 win in a way for Forest just because, I mean, I think we concede. Just I don't know why we concede to be fair, but I think we will. But I think going forward, and that, especially with our front three, because they're getting it together now, and with like Danilo on form and that, we still seem to be clicking at
Hmm.
nice. I do think Danilo might score. He might make it 4-4. Then I think I won he might score because he scored two really good goals on Monday, and I'm hoping that he can kick on now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, do you want to say about your socials?
Oh yeah. Well, if you want to subscribe to my channel, it is Chelsea Fan TV, which I presume will be in the description or the
Yeah, it'll be in
title.
the description.
This is my. There we go. This is my Instagram right here, Atch Vlog. You can follow me on Instagram if you want, and yeah, if you want to watch our fan cams after we play the game, well, they will be up. They'll probably be quite sad fan cams or upset because we're probably going to lose.
But yeah, do follow Alex on his Instagram and do subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. I'll say it the long way this time.
I know, I know. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, but yeah, it will be in the title as per usual and description. So do check out the channel. Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for having me.
It's alright, no worries. So thank you for watching, guys, and